Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Engineered Coffee. This week, we'll bring you a quick roundup of the biggest stories shaping the coffee industry. From farming and commodity markets to sustainability, technology, and regulations, we'll highlight the news that matters and, more importantly, explain why it matters. Whether you work in coffee every day or simply enjoy a great cup, let's take a look at what's been happening in the world of coffee this week. Our first story this week is Brazil avoids a major trade blow. The first story comes from Brazil, the world's largest coffee producer. This week, Brazil's instant coffee industry received some welcome news. The United States confirmed that Brazilian instant coffee will be exempt from new import tariffs, protecting an export market worth between $2 and $2.5 billion a year. Now you might be thinking, we don't make instant coffee, so why does this matter? The answer is simple. Coffee is a global market. When something significant happens in Brazil, it affects confidence, investment, and pricing across the entire industry. The world's largest producer influences everybody else. For story number 2, it's a big harvest, but weather remains the wild card. Staying in Brazil, the 2026 harvest is expected to be one of the largest in recent years. That is good news, but growers are already warning that El Niño could still reduce real yields later this season through extreme heat and irregular rainfall. The encouraging news is that many farms are far better prepared than they were 10 years ago, thanks to irrigation, improved agronomy, and climate-resilient farming practices. It's another reminder that modern coffee farming isn't just about growing coffee anymore. It's about managing risks. Let's go with story number 3, coffee prices and your morning cup. I've covered this in a previous episode in detail, but here is the short version. Commodity coffee prices have eased from the record highs that we saw over the past year. So why isn't your coffee suddenly cheaper? Because green coffee is only one part of the cost. By the time coffee reaches your kitchen, you've added roasting, packaging, transport, labor, energy, warehousing, and retail margins. Retail prices almost always lag behind commodity prices. And sometimes they don't fall at all because the rest of the supply chain has become more expensive. It's a good reminder that the price of a cup of coffee reflects much more than the cost of the beans alone. Now let's talk about Robusta. It continues to gain respect. Last episode, we asked the question, is Robusta the future of coffee? This week's news only reinforces that discussion. While Arabica remains vulnerable to changing weather patterns, Robusta producing regions continue investing in irrigation and climate resilience. Better farming practices and improved varieties are also helping to raise quality. Now, I personally don't believe that Robusta will ever replace Arabica, but I do believe we'll continue to see more high-quality Robusta, more balanced blends, and a greater acceptance from consumers. The future of coffee is likely to include both. Here's something to think about. Our modern capsule filling lines can produce 1,100 capsules every minute. That means every second, around 18 perfectly closed, sealed, and inspected capsules are leaving the production line. Or in an hour, that's 66,000 an hour. And if each one gets 5.5 grams of coffee, that's 363 kilos of coffee. That's one line, 1 hour. Now imagine something goes just slightly wrong. For example, a seal head temperature sensor malfunctions or it's not correctly calibrated. This can become a very expensive problem. That's why we have to ensure that proper quality checks are done multiple times per hour. Having a high-speed line without the proper checks and balances in place can be a big liability as it can also produce a lot of defects in a hurry. Well, that's it for this week, and thank you for watching. If there's a story you'd like us to cover in a future episode, let us know in the comments. And if you found this roundup useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who enjoys coffee as much as you do. So until next week, keep engineering better coffee.